2020 Paducah Chamber Power and Partnership Breakfast. It's our last one of 2020, and we're so glad that you have chosen to join us. We also want to thank our sponsor, U.S. Bank. They've been with us for many years as the sponsor of this December breakfast, and we appreciate the continued partnership that we have with U.S. Bank and look forward to many years ahead with them as well. So thank you to them. We're going to do just a few chamber announcements, and then we'll begin to start hearing from our speakers. But we do want to welcome all of our new members who have joined us recently, just since our last membership campaign, or at the very end of it. Alliance, Barbara Veazey Antique and Fiber Art, CHA Consulting, MC Homes, Mitchell Construction, Menards, the Old Fashioned Cigar Bar, Pebco, ServeWorks from Metropolis Arts, White Financial Group, Window World of Paducah, and Zen Business. So we welcome them. They were part of at the very end of our membership campaign that we missed announcing at our last chamber breakfast. So welcome to all of them. We do have a ribbon cutting today at Noth's Barbecue. It's at 225 Broadway. That's going to be at 10:30 this morning. It will be outside in front of Noth's Barbecue, but we still ask that you wear your mask, and we'll stay outside and get some photos and celebrate with them and get to see inside their new facility. Next Wednesday, December 9th at 4 p.m. at Forever Pampered, 108 Broadway. We'll have a ribbon cutting. And then we've also recently celebrated with two others. Emerald Therapy Center, located at 5050B Village Square Drive. We had one with them about 2 weeks ago. And then yesterday, we celebrated a groundbreaking with Signet Federal Credit Union at 106 Colonial Court in Pecan. So it was really great to see where their new facility will be, and you can see what it will even look like on our Facebook page. So congratulations to all of those businesses. Next Thursday, December 10th, the Paducah Young Professionals will be helping out at Noble Park with the collecting donations and canned goods during Christmas in the Park light display. So we're still accepting a few more volunteers for times during that time from 6 to 9, and we want to encourage everyone to support that project this winter too, by going through Noble Park. Bring your canned goods, bring some money, and donate that will go to some of the worthwhile charities in our community to help our local community. So that's still going on, and it's a beautiful display this year. On Monday, December 14th, we're shifting to public policy, and the Chamber will hear from the 5 area state legislators who represent Paducah and parts of McCracken County. It's part of our public policy series. It will be a virtual format, and our speakers include Senator Danny Carroll, Representative Randy Bridges, Representative Chris Freeland, Representative Richard Heath, and Representative Stephen Rudy. So we're very excited to have that opportunity for us to be able to share our 2021 state priorities with them and hear from them on what they're expecting once they get to Frankfort in January. Again, the event will be live on Zoom, and it will be here from the U.S. We'll be broadcasting from here, but we hope that you'll join us. You can also watch that on the Facebook page of the Chamber and WPSD. And by the way, we appreciate the relationship with WPSD. They are live streaming our breakfast again this morning for us, and most all of our events. So we appreciate that relationship that we have with WPSD. That public policy series is sponsored by Swift and Staley and Four Rivers Nuclear Partnership. We've had many of those events this year from the public policy series, where we've gotten to hear from Congressman Comer, from Senator McConnell, and from others. And so we look forward to hearing from our state legislators too. We know when they go to Frankfort in January, they have a lot of challenges ahead of them as the state has been hit by COVID and everyone else has. So we want to share with them what our priorities are and hear back from them. On Wednesday, December 16th at 9 a.m., we have a webinar that's focused on being a women-owned small business to get the certification. It's through the Small Business Administration. And even if you are currently certified to be a woman-owned business, you still are going to have to recertify. So this webinar will bring all of that information to our local businesses. If you are a business that does business with the government, this is a great way to learn more about how to do government contracting and to get some of those advantages by being certified in this area. So that's December 16th at 9 a.m. All of these events that I've mentioned today, you can register at paducahchamber.org. I just want to talk briefly about shopping local and how important that is. Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday have all just ended. They signal the start, really, of the holiday shopping season and a time when many businesses see a boost to sales. Local businesses are the backbone of our community. They are who support us all of the time. Studies show for every $100 spent at a local business, $68 of it stays within the local economy. 91% of Americans produce a small business or prioritize that at least once a week. So when you shop local, you're supporting local workers, you're supporting local business owners, and you're supporting our local economy. So we want to drive that point home. There are many ways to do that. Especially small businesses really can create a great atmosphere in a community. They bring the uniqueness of a community to our downtown, to our midtown, to our West End, and to even our mall area. There are many local businesses owned there, small businesses, but they all employ our local people. So that's where we gather to see our friends and families, and even though you're doing it mask up, you can still do that, and in many different ways. And I want to just mention our restaurants in particular who are facing those special challenges right now with the complete closure of their dining room for inside through December 13th. We certainly hope that on December 14th, that's going to return to in-store dining, especially at 50% at least. And I know that there are a lot of conversations being held with the governor to try to push for that, to get those back open. But remember, between now and then, you can still order from your favorite restaurants. Many of them have now started offering delivery, and they're also offering for pickup. So it's easy to do that. You can call them, you can order. Some of them have special menus just for carry out. And again, many of them are offering delivery. So there's really no reason to cook. You can enjoy carry out from one of our locally owned restaurants, and please continue to support them. I want to just mention there are multiple ways, as I've said, to support our local community. You can mask up and you can go into these stores. You can try to avoid the crowds. Maybe you want to shop at times if you're wanting to avoid the large crowds, when they wouldn't be in the store. Or you can go in and stay in a different side. Talk to a sales clerk if you're having an issue with the crowd in the store and how you can still shop there. You can shop online from many of our local stores. Check out their Facebook page. Check out their website. Please give them a call, and they will either put it out in front of their store, they'll mail it to you, and some of them are even offering delivery. So I just want to say it's very important to continue to support our local businesses, our small businesses, and especially our chamber members. If you want to know who they are, go to PaducahChamber.org. You can look on our Facebook page, especially you'll see their restaurants that are chamber members now posted on our Facebook page. Locally owned small businesses are, again, the backbone of our community. And I'm going to introduce now the chairman of the Chamber Board for 2020, who is a locally owned small business, Mr. Chad Byer. It's been a great year to have him as our chairman. We're not giving you up yet. We're going to bring you back in our January meeting for a little bit more of our transition talk. But Chad's been a great partner, a great friend, and a great supporter of the Paducah Chamber, and he's owner of I-5 Design. So please welcome Chad Byer.
Thank you, Sandra. Good morning and greetings from the board. I am, in fact, the face of a local small business. I'm the owner of a local small business. I'm a local HubZone small business, and I'm a member of the Paducah Chamber. I know as a small business owner, and I appreciate the information and the services that our local chamber provides every day. I've benefited from those personally. I want to start out and thank the board and the chamber membership who had the confidence in me several years ago to select me to serve in this capacity in 2020. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Even though this has been one of the most challenging years we ever could have expected, I'm still grateful. When I step back and I think about my year as board chair for the Paducah Chamber, it's been nothing like what I thought it would be. When I first took the position, I very clearly told Sandra that I would challenge and I would push, and I would push us to seek discomfort because that's my nature. With what 2020 has thrown at us, I haven't needed a challenge, I haven't had to push, and I think we've all experienced discomfort. We've all been challenged as individuals, and certainly in our professional lives. So while this year hasn't been what I expected, I'm proud that I've had the opportunity to serve in 2020. I've said many times this year that I'm proud of the pivot. I'm proud of the pivot that the Chamber has made to serve our members, and I'm going to say it again. I am very proud of what the Chamber has accomplished in 2020. Our small but mighty staff has been working hard since March to support our members and the community through these trying times. We've intentionally focused on providing real, tangible, timely support for businesses in Paducah and McCracken County. We've done that through e-blast, webinars, and advocacy efforts. And I personally believe that maybe more than ever, the care for our members and our community has been visible, real, and felt. Our Power and Partnership Breakfast went virtual, as well as many of our other live events. We haven't got to see each other as much as I anticipated. And when we couldn't travel to Washington, D.C. in September, we decided to bring D.C. to Paducah. Our two-day virtual event was praised by UN Ambassador Kelly Craft, U.S. Congressman James Comer, and many others from our Kentucky federal delegation, praising its professionalism even while on Zoom. I hadn't had the opportunity in the past to go to D.C., and I was especially excited to be a part of the Chamber's delegation this year. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and even though that we ended up being here virtually, the event's impact was great. During our DC flyback this year, Congressman Comer said, "No chamber in the state of Kentucky, no chamber, big or small, is more effective than the Paducah Chamber. No chamber accomplishes more with advocacy for its members in Kentucky than the Paducah Chamber. And when you fly into Washington, no chamber brings the quantity and quality of Paducah that the Paducah Chamber brings." He said, "Paducah has developed a reputation for achievement and quality." And that is exactly what the Chamber set out to do, to make ourselves known and serve as your voice, a united voice in Washington, in Frankfort, and in our local community. The relationships that the Chamber has built with officials from DOE, DOT, and our federal delegation are so important for our mission of advocacy. From those relationships, Paducah and McCracken County have benefited by receiving millions of dollars in investments in our local economy in the form of jobs, business, and growth and development. We never take any membership for granted, whether that's small, large, individual, corporate, federal, government, you name it. We appreciate you very much as members, and we look forward to continuing to serve you in 2021. It has been my pleasure to serve this year. It's been an honor, and the staff and Sandra, I'm so impressed with what they do, and again, just very grateful. It's now my pleasure to introduce December Power and Partnership sponsor, U.S. Bank. We appreciate all that U.S. Bank does for the community and the Chamber, and here to speak on their behalf today is Scott Powell, Market President and Community Banking Senior Commercial Team Leader. Scott.
Thank you, Chad. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be with the Chamber today and with the Chamber membership, albeit virtually. Chad, thank you for those comments. I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm very proud of the year and the leadership that you provided the Chamber this year. I know going into this year was nothing like you anticipated, thrown a lot of curveballs throughout the year, but you endured and did a great job, and we appreciate your time and effort and support of Sandra and her team. I want to thank the Chamber for giving us the opportunity to finish off another wonderful year of diverse programming and being the sponsor of the December breakfast. Always take that responsibility seriously and try to provide the Chamber a program at the end of the year that is enlightening and informative. And in light of all that all of us have gone through this year. It's hopefully the program this year will provide you a little hope and inspiration to finish off the year. It's a great pleasure to represent U.S. Bank and all of our many employees and offices today, and wish they could be here with us, but that's not possible these days. But I'm proud to be able to represent all of them. Obviously, 2020, I would say I never would be an advocate of wishing Father Time away, especially at my age today. But I can say that this has been a difficult year for a lot of us, for most of us, and a year that come 12/31 we'll be glad to put in the books. But I do have the hope and vision and desire for that to turn quickly, obviously, in 2021, and that's the hope. But I would be remiss if I didn't commend Sandra and her chamber team for their leadership and perseverance going through all of this change. The key to a strong organization with good leadership is their ability to persevere and endure and to continue business as usual. And I want to commend Sandra and her team for being able to do that. Obviously, as Chad said well, their ability to advocate for the business community in Paducah and the Purchase area is unmatched. And their commitment and dedication never ends each and every month. And though they had to endure and adapt and make changes in the way they presented us, both in Washington, in Frankfort, and here locally, they continue to advocate on your behalf. So I hope that you are joining me right now in a virtual applause for our chamber team, Sandra and her leadership. So thank you very much. If you get an opportunity, you see them in the near future, I think we all owe them a debt of gratitude and to give them thanks for their efforts. I've had the pleasure of, for the last 14 years, presenting the last program, and we've tried to bring various programs to the last chamber meeting each year, whether it be economic development, education. We hear from our state chamber on occasion, but we thought it was appropriate to try to bring back a topic of economic development, and we're grateful to have Jeff Taylor with us today from the Kentucky Economic Cabinet, and we'll introduce Jeff here shortly. You know, U.S. Bank feels strongly that economic development at the grassroots level starts with our nonprofits, and I have communicated in years past our efforts on a nationwide level to try to be an organization of leadership to lead in initiatives where we feel is very important in support of communities throughout the country. Whether it be United Way, Red Cross, and as we talked about in previous years, our Community Possible initiative that provided a new way of providing funding for organizations in support of work, home, and play. And I'm proud to say this last year, we were able to donate about $8 million in our play pillar, our work pillar about $14 million, and about equal that amount in our home pillar, much of those dollars this last year has gone to the development of homes for our veterans and those others in need. This year, I'm proud to say that we partnered with Operation Homefront. It's an initiative that is going on throughout the United States that supports those veterans, disabled veterans with war-torn injuries, to provide them vehicles with special equipment to allow them to once again regain independence and as normal quality of life as possible. We feel like we owe a debt of gratitude to our veterans and their families for the tremendous sacrifices that they have provided us, and it's the least that we can do. And we feel like that this gifting program with specialized vehicles is profound and is life-changing for these veterans. We hope, much like we have in many initiatives over the last several years, that other corporations throughout the country will step up and give to a similar type program so that all of our veterans can be blessed with such gifts. Today I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker. Jeff Taylor, Commissioner of Business Development for the Kentucky Cabinet of Economic Development. After Jeff's comments, we'll also have Bruce Wilcox, who is CEO and President of the Paducah Economic Development, to come to provide us some comments on activities in our local market as well. In January of this year, Jeff Taylor was appointed, as I said, as Commissioner of the Business Development for the Kentucky Cabinet of Economic Development. Jeff has 35 years experience in economic development and 31 dedicated years of service with the Tennessee Valley Authority. Jeff has just recently retired, but in his tenure, he has served in the capacity as Senior Project Manager, Public Relations, Marketing, and Community Development. He graduated from Basic Economic Development course at the University of Georgia and attended the Economic Development Institute at the University of Oklahoma. In 2014, he earned a certification as an Economic Development Financial Professional. He is a graduate of Western Kentucky University and has a master's at the University of North Alabama. He is a native Kentuckian right down the road here in Central City, Kentucky, and he and his family have lived in the Hopkinsville area for a while. He is no stranger to the Paducah and Purchase area, as Jeff has family in this area and comes to visit frequently. So please join me with a warm West Kentucky welcome to Jeff Taylor.
Wow, good morning, everyone. Thank you for that very warm introduction. It's very kind of you. I'd like to thank Sandra for the invitation and the opportunity to speak to such a great chamber and a great group of people this morning. And I certainly want to acknowledge Bruce. I enjoy working with Bruce. We hit it off. It's a great partnership. And I think he's doing a stellar job down there. As you stated, I do have much family and friends in Paducah. I met my wife there. She's a girl next door, met her on a blind date. We live next door to each other. We maintain property in Paducah. My son was born there. She's a graduate of the community college, and I attended the community college briefly. My relationships go all the way back to Mary Paxton and Judge Danny Arzine. I've just had stellar relationships there. I consider it home, and I joined the cabinet back in January. I already knew Larry Hayes, knew Secretary Hayes for years, and this was certainly an opportunity that I was glad to take on. But I think it was back in February, a delegation from Paducah came up to Frankfort during session. When I walked in the room and I seen all the people from Paducah, it was like being at a away game and being on the ball court and just looking up at the stands and seeing fans that travel across the state to watch you play. Just many smiling faces, a lot of good questions, and it was just a great way to kick my career off as commissioner. I have some unique experience, I feel, in this position. I've worked, as you said, with TVA for 31 years. Then I worked briefly with the Next Move Group as a consultant. I've worked on the local level like Bruce. And of course, I took a dive from economic development, spent time as a state legislator. But all these things have given me a unique viewpoint to help set the course of the cabinet. And I will tell you more about that later. But I manage a 3-person department, or 3 departments report to me. That's business and community development, international affairs, and research, which is one of our hidden jewels. Our focus at the cabinet is we lead a statewide network of support for entrepreneurs, small business owners, and knowledge-based startup entities. This is our innovation department, headed up by our legal counsel, Tony Ellis. The bulk of our jobs come from existing industries, from their retention and expansion. So we focus very heavily on that. We assist communities like Paducah in their preparation to recruit. We can advise you on site development, on product development, and on workforce. Of course, we want to attract new industries to the state. That's what a lot of people find interesting. And of course, that's what gets the headlines. But again, it's the retention of existing industries where the bulk of jobs come from. Marketing our brand and telling our story. This is really where I focus at. For all of my life, I've really considered myself as nothing more than a salesman or a sales consultant. So we've initiated a lot of new programs to tell the story of Kentucky and to make it attractive and to get out in front of consultants and companies. The bulk of our leads come from local communities like you all bring them to us. Then that's followed by site selection consultants. So we have a strong marketing strategy to get out in front of those consultants. Then we want to be transparent and fiscally responsible. You know, this is a profession where you have to wine and dine and entertain, but we want to remain good stewards of state funding. If we shift and take a look at the Kentucky region, you guys are very fortunate to have one of our top guns in Mr. Corky P. Corky is, I think, one of the best in the nation. He knows his job very well. He's working very well with Bruce. I know we have some active projects there. But we have Becca Burton and Brooklyn Lee covering East Kentucky and Tenco Cumberland area. Annie Franklin covers Northern Kentucky and the Bluegrass area. And Martin David and Andy Leutner covers Kentuckiana Works and Lincoln Trail. Now, we only use this as a loose structure at any given time based on the project. These people may work across geographic boundaries. They also have target industry responsibilities. But again, however, they may switch up targets depending on workload. But our healthcare person is Martin David. Food and beverage and agribusiness is Annie Franklin. Automotive, aerospace, and defense is Brooklyn Lee. Metals and chemicals is Andy Leutner. And tech projects are led up by our innovation department. Something that I did when I came in is I thought that our target market specialists, you can't just say you have a target. You just can't say I've got food and beverage or I have metals. What do you really know about that target? What do you know about those project drivers? What is that market looking for in a community? So I challenge these project managers, as long as what I researched, to come up with webinars to present these. There's been 5 of these webinars for each of the target markets. We've had a total of 802 total RSVPs, 588 total participants. They're out on YouTube, and there have been 569 viewers to date on YouTube. The audience has been economic development organizations. Bruce has been on several of them. Economic development consultants are tuning in, our utility partners, state legislators, and companies. It's part of a continuous improvement process that I put in place at the cabinet. Also to date, we've invested more than 2 weeks in training our staff, from everything to reading a financial spreadsheet to sales and negotiations, all the major airports, all the major rail carriers. They've all met with us and presented to us on our program, and we will continue to invest and train in our staff. Our announcements through November 30th this year, we've had 6,621 new and full-time jobs planned with the assistance of our communities and our partners. This has led to $2.23 billion in ongoing investments, 183 expansions and new locations and projects announced. In spite of COVID, folks, I'm pleased to tell you that we are actually ahead of the game, not in capital investment, but on expansions and new locations. We're up about 40 from we were last year. This is in spite of COVID. This is in spite of the webinars and the training and everything else that I've asked our staff to do. You know, I don't want to be average. I want us to be the best economic development state entity in the nation. So I've pushed these people very hard, and I'm very proud of them. Announcement about industry sector. We take a look at that. Food and beverage has been very strong. That's a natural fit for Kentucky. 32 announcements in that area that have led to 1,386 jobs and 883 in capital investment. It's followed by automotive-related jobs. Distribution and logistics come in high. And if you'll take a note as what I'm saying on these announcements, you'll see that it goes hand in hand with our target marketing sectors. Of course, the spirits, as you know, that's our signature industry in Kentucky, and it comes in pretty high as well. It's 243 jobs and 287 million in capital investment, but we consider spirits as a subset of food and beverage. Again, as I stated earlier, existing industry generally leads the way in economic development. Out of these 183 projects, 79% of these projects fell into the existing industry category. Out of the $2.23 billion, 53% came from existing industry expansions. Now, this one is a little different on jobs this year. The bulk of the jobs came from new industry locations, and that's unusual. It's not by a great margin, but still unusual. I think it's the first time it's happened at the state. If we take a look at McCracken County specifically, for the last 5 years, 297 new full-time jobs planned, congratulations. 14.8 million in planned ongoing investment, 14 expansions and new location projects announced over the course of the last 5 years. If we take a look at some of the specific projects, let's look at the last 5 years. We've had NRE Paducah with $1,300,000 investment, 15 new jobs, Plastic Services and Products, 85 new jobs, Vector Enterprises Incorporated, that was an expansion. I don't have the job numbers, but it was a $700,000 investment. Congratulations. One of your signature projects and something that the previous administration really talked about largely, and it started with them, was NRE Paducah. But it's the 15 jobs that it created, jobs paying more than $30 an hour. That is stellar in this economy, and a total of $1.3 million investment. Great project. I want to talk a little bit about some of the things we have on the horizon. Then I'll close out with what I see is coming our way and what communities need to be doing in order to be competitive on not just the state, but a national level. I'll put together a couple of competitive analysis teams. One of these teams, they focus primarily on our state competitors. Of course, the most logical competitors are contiguous states, Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee. I want to know what they're looking like. I want to know what projects are visiting or located there that didn't even take a look at Kentucky. I want to know what the difference is in the capital investment and jobs created year to year. So one of the first things that popped out to me was Tennessee. They beat us by a significant margin, but basically it was related to two projects. It was the Facebook data center, which was an $800 million investment. It created 100 jobs, 1,500 temporary construction jobs, then a Cadillac electrical vehicle plant that went to the old Saturn plant at Spring Hill. Well, I asked them, this was before my tenure, but I wanted to know, why didn't Facebook look at Kentucky? Why not? And it came down to sales tax structure, personal income tax. We're heading into an environment where there are going to be a lot of stay-at-home jobs. I'm presenting to you from home today, and I tell everyone this. COVID sped up the evolution of full-time stay-at-home jobs. We were heading that way anyway. Site selection consultants were already doing training on virtual site visits before COVID got here. Now, in my opinion, COVID has sped this up by 5, 7 to 10 years, but we were going that direction anyway. But as far as data centers go, Kentucky, our statutes, they do not allow us to incentivize full-time stay-at-home jobs. You've got two things with the data centers and high-tech companies. Some of their jobs are stay-at-home anyway, but if it's a company locating across the country, there are people that are bringing their spouses. We're calling them trailing spouses, and a lot of them are going to want stay-at-home jobs. We cannot be competitive if we do not incentivize them. Then on top of that, there are states like Arkansas, Alabama, Iowa that are incentivizing employees to locate to their states. So we have to get more competitive. We're doing web analytics. First thing I ask is, okay, who's visiting our website? Well, we don't know, but we need to know. So just like you guys, if you go online and you Google a new coffee pot, and all of a sudden you get these ads about buy our coffee pot, you're getting ads from everywhere. Well, we're not taking it quite to that level, but we want to know exactly who's visiting our websites with web analytics. Then we're going to set up a marketing campaign to reach out to these people. We've instituted two campaigns, a California campaign and a Canadian campaign. What this is we go back to the target markets: food and beverage, metal, automotive, distribution, logistics. We use our research team to analyze these companies based on number of employees and whether or not they have a footprint in Kentucky. With that, we send out an email. To California, we've sent out about 2,500 emails. These go to C-suite executives. We can tell when they open that email. If they open it, then it will lead them to a landing page. The landing page is drafted specifically for that company. It's a direct message to them. If they follow up, it will take them to the YouTube videos of the webinars or lead them to our website, but it lets us know whether or not they're interested in Kentucky to the point where we should follow up. Right now, we have 8 leads coming from there. California has an unfriendly manufacturing environment. We're not attacking California in this. We're just highlighting Kentucky's strengths. We will follow up with the Eastern Seaboard, New York, New Jersey. We have people moving into Kentucky from California with buying houses that they don't even go view the houses. They buy them online. They view them online. They buy them online, sight unseen. And I can tell you for a fact that in Louisville, they're paying more for the homes than what the homes are advertised for. We also initiated this in Canada, and we're going to be taking it to other international companies. Something that we're working hard on is with communities is renewable energy. We have a lot of renewable energy companies coming to us, asking us about properties or communities that may be friendly to them. Well, this ties back into the data centers. Facebook that went to Gallatin, they wanted 100% new to the world renewable energy, and TVA partnered with them and helped supply them with that. The Google plant in Clarksville, and it is right on the Kentucky border near Todd County, and we do have a data center site in Logan County, but Google wanted a 100% match on renewable energy. So we have to get prepared there. Some of the things that communities need to be doing, in my opinion, to be competitive, and I will close out with this, is housing stock. There just seems to be a shortage, even here where I live in Hopkinsville. Realtors call me all the time and say, Jeff, there's just not enough good houses for sale. But again, our housing is moderately priced compared to areas like New York and California. So we see, again, people fleeing. Cities like Nashville are tapping out. I have a son in Louisville. Before he can put a bid in on a home, it's gone. Sooner or later, these millennials and people that are looking to relocate, they're going to be forced to look at smaller to medium-sized communities like Paducah. And I think Paducah is well poised for many reasons. They're going to be looking at workforce, everything from the elementary school all the way up to which I consider the engines of economic development, which are your four-year universities, your community colleges, and your tech schools. They're going to want to know if they can get the full-time stay-at-home jobs for their spouses. They're going to want to know about dining. They're going to want to know about entertainment. They're going to want to know about the vibrancy of your downtown. I said this when you guys came up to visit with me in Frankfurt. The way a site selection consultant or company sees it is if you're not taking care of your downtown, you're not taking care of anything else. And you guys have done a stellar job with your downtown. I commend you on that. They're going to be looking for outdoor activities. They're going to be looking for proximity to other entertainment venues in larger cities. And another thing that they're going to be looking at, and I've just seen this, and I think Paducah is well poised, but there are about 1,400 companies, some of them Fortune 500s, that they have sent out one of their chief executives in a full-time capacity, paying their salary to work on diversity inclusion. Some of the civil unrest throughout the nation has brought this about. One of the leading companies this is MassMutual. We'll see a lot of these insurance companies again do the full-time stay-at-home jobs, but a question that I would tell you to prepare for, and you may not get it a lot, but one I'm starting to see that's going to catch some communities off guard is when you've got that company or that consultant at the table, they're going to say, tell us about your cultural diversity here. I think Paducah is well poised. You've got a very active NAACP with J.W. McCleary. You're well known for your 8th of August Emancipation celebration, But this is not just race. It's going to be race, gender, lifestyle, LGBTQ. What do you have that shows that we are an open community? We will embrace you. You're going to be comfortable here. Do you have things in your community that signal that? Or do you have things in your community that do just the opposite? They're going to look around your boardroom. They're going to look for that diversity. And this is not me, folks. I want you to tell this is already coming from companies and consultants. We're seeing a lot of movement out of Canada. We'll be working projects from there. Seeing a lot of movement on electrical vehicles. We were told this years ago. Seeing a lot of movement on the companies that make the batteries for these vehicles. A lot of this was coming out of China, but now we're starting to see it out of Korea and Japan. As I close out, I will say this. There's a special place in my heart for Paducah. I am in and out. Of course, I can't play favorites, but you can't help where you're from and where you left your families and friends. I don't think there's any community as well poised in Paducah to be the next great place for companies to locate. You've seen a great surge in things in Bowling Green, a lot of announcements there. But folks, eventually things saturate. And when you look at a community that has everything to offer, I can't think of one that has any more to offer than Paducah. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Please feel free to contact me anytime. And I certainly look forward to having you guys in Frankfort again. Happy holidays, and please be safe during COVID. Thank you.
Well, Commissioner Taylor, we could not agree with you more. We really appreciate you being with us today and sharing all the exciting news of everything that's going on throughout our Commonwealth and all the great new economic development initiatives and projects that are going on in a year like 2020. Can you imagine, once we get things back to normal from an economic standpoint, what the state of Kentucky can accomplish? I think we're poised, and I think in 10 years we'll look back on this day and realize this was the launching point for the state of Kentucky. And I'm excited about what the future has to hold for our Commonwealth. But thank you, Commissioner, for being with us today and providing us those good words. Little birdie told me a few minutes ago, being a member I'm on the State Chamber Board and get our quarterly newsletter, little bird told me that someone that's near and dear to all of us has not gotten the public recognition that she has deserved. So we have, I wanted to publicly announce and congratulate Sandra Wilson for being the chairwoman, or elected chairperson of our Chamber of Commerce, Kentucky Chamber of Commerce Executives. She has been appointed by her peer in the State Chamber as the chairperson for this next year, and I think that's a wonderful honor. It's well deserved, and I know Sandra will represent Paducah and the Purchase area well in her leadership capacity, and I know she'll do a great job in not only advocating for our chamber in that capacity, but for all the chamber initiatives throughout the state of Kentucky. So congratulations on that well-deserved recognition, Sandra. Now we'll have introduce Bruce Wilcox, who'll give us comments on local economic initiatives. Bruce is our president and CEO of the Paducah Economic Development. Bruce joined the GPDC in September of 2019 with over 25 years of senior level role in the community. He has a Bachelor of Science degree at Murray State University with a concentration in accounting. In the first year working with GPD, he and his team have announced over 205 jobs with an annual reoccurring economic benefit of $23 million per year in our local economy. He is also working with other key initiatives in positions PED, and the community will continue to increase future economic growth. So will you please join me in welcoming Bruce to the podium? Bruce?
Thank you, Scott, and good morning, everyone. I, too, would be remiss this morning if I didn't thank Scott Powell and the team at U.S. Bank for sponsoring this morning's Power and Partnership Breakfast. Not only is U.S. Bank a great supporter and partner with the Paducah Area Chamber of Commerce, U.S. Bank is also a great partner and investor with Greater Paducah Economic Development. Without U.S. Bank and our other investors, we at GPED would not be able to do the work that we do. So this morning, we have a very festive thank you to all of our investors and certainly U.S. Bank. So Scott, thank you to you and your team for all that you do within our community. What a privilege it was this morning to hear from Commissioner Jeff Taylor with the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development. In a similar fashion to how well we work with our local elected officials and our local government leaders, we too work very well with Commissioner Taylor and his staff at the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development. We really appreciate the working relationship we have with him and his staff. In addition to the projects that we have worked on with Commissioner Taylor and his staff this year and currently have in place, I've been honored just a short time ago to participate with Commissioner Taylor and a few other economic development leaders from across the state to participate in the Kentucky United program, where we did a site selector presentation. So as we move forward, it's extremely important for us to maintain an open dialogue and open pipeline with our elected leaders in Frankfort and the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development. So thank you again, Commissioner Taylor, for your words this morning. As I was preparing yesterday for this morning's comments, I thought, wow, what a year this has been. We started the year off with a lot of activity. COVID happens, things start to slow down, and then about 6 to 8 weeks ago, things started to slow down again and then pick up. It's kind of been like a seesaw all year. But that being said, we've had a very blessed year, we've had a successful year, and we've had a productive year. So this morning I'd like to take just a few moments of your time and share with you some of our accomplishments and some of our wins this year. Our first win this year, it was a big one. It was backfilling the 125 vacated jobs by Genova and the related facility. We started working with Plastic Services and Products in December of last year, and we were able to finally assist them in backfilling these jobs in June of this year. And to use a baseball analogy, everybody loves a triple play, right? And this transaction was just that. Number one, we backfilled the lost jobs. Number two, we negotiated the sale of the building to Plastic Services and Products on behalf of the city and the county. And after the bond reduction or elimination, the city and the county walked away with approximately $2.5 million. And three, we were able to submit the financing opportunity to our local financial institutions and allow them to have an opportunity to bid or propose on the financing of the facility. And one of our local financial institutions actually secured that transaction. So it was a great team win, and it was a great win for our community. Our second big win this year was backfilling the vacated GPED-owned building at 401 Kentucky Avenue. We were able to work with Kaleo Technologies on an expansion project to create 65 new positions with the potential to be upwards of 100. We also leased them the vacated space, and the way the lease is structured, at the end of the 5-year term, commensurate with the end of the lease, the building will be debt-free. So you might say this was another triple play in that we had new jobs created, we leased a vacated facility, and debt reduction for GPED. So again, another great win for our community. A third win this year, Commissioner Taylor alluded to, was National Rail, or NRE. We started working with NRE in January, trying to get them to relocate some jobs from Hagerstown, Maryland. We were successful in doing that. They've relocated 15 jobs. They've acquired a new building just off of Kentucky Avenue, and they're investing a substantial amount of capital into advanced manufacturing, machinery, and equipment. So we're really excited to have those jobs in our community. And just yesterday, we celebrated the groundbreaking on a new 15,000 square foot facility for another one of our investors, Signet Federal Credit Union. This new larger facility will position Signet for expanded staffing and enable them for increased future growth. All in all, these wins represent over 205 permanent jobs with benefits for our community. And we partner with Murray State University, Chris Wooldridge and Dr. Simone Silva there, and we use their economic modeling software called M-Plan to determine what's the economic value of having these jobs in our community. These 205 jobs that we've announced this year, actually, once you consider the ripple effect of having these jobs and the monies recirculated back into our community, support a total of 280 jobs. And the ripple effect of those dollars circulating throughout our community has a recurring economic impact, and I emphasize the word recurring economic impact of $23 million per year. So again, a great, great year for economic development, considering all of the things that we've dealt with this year. Recruiting these new jobs has not been the only things that we've been working on this year. As Scott mentioned, we've been positioning ourselves to create even more jobs and position ourselves for better growth in the years to come. Some of the other things that we've been doing, we've been updating our environmental assessments on our properties. We've been clearing acreage for better showing and marketing purposes. We've been making needed repairs to facilities and infrastructure. We've had increased engagement with the Paducah-McCracken County Riverport. I firmly believe the foreign trade zone designation there will pay off one day as we talk with international companies. We've also been working with Paducah Water on the construction of a new 1 million gallon water tank out at Industrial Park West, and you should see that construction of that starting in the first quarter of 2021. And of course, we've been liquidating debt. We've also been updating our maps. We've been updating our marketing materials, and we've implemented a new website. And I'd like to take just a few moments with you this morning and tell you a little bit more about our new website. We've created a customized website. It's epaducah.com. Again, it's epaducah.com, specifically tailored to site selectors and companies looking to locate here in Paducah. I've been told there are as many as 35,000 economic development organizations across the United States, chasing as few as 5,000 large-scale projects. And a large-scale project typically is defined as $1 million in capital investment, a 20,000 square foot building, or 50 employees. And those of us in business, we know that's not really a large project. But I share that with you to say that there's 7 to 8 entities or organizations chasing every single deal out there. It's a very competitive industry and a tough job to do. So with the accessibility and how readily information is available, we've been told that site selectors know as much as 90% about you and your community before they ever even talk to you. So that's why it's very important for us to have a very vibrant, a very active and up-to-date website. You could say with as many organizations chasing these deals, a lot of times it's not site selection, it's site elimination as these site selectors are trying to decide where to locate. So Heather Pierce, our project manager, and Nora Reichel, our CFO, they've done some great work alongside Marketing Alliance this year and putting our new website in place. Our new website has up-to-date information on our assets that we have available to market. Our assets are now promoted on a site called LOIS, L-O-I-S, Location One Information Services. And what this site is, it's a website that site selectors use they might be looking for a site with river access and rail access. They can put in their parameters, bingo, it pulls up the Paducah Triple Rail site. So we not only have our information now promoted on an international database through LOIS, we also have our information on the state's Zoom Prospector account that Commissioner Taylor and his team uses. We've also have up-to-date census data and information that's provided by Esri and Chmura, and of course we have a host of other information on our site regarding workforce development, and our community. So again, I would strongly encourage you, go to epaducah.com and check out our new website. We're really proud of the work that's been done there. There have been a host of other things that we've done as well, but for the sake of time this morning, we'll move on and we'll talk a little bit about the projects that we have in place. We currently have 20 projects on the books, all in different stages. Some have been on the books for several years, and one is literally 2 weeks old. They range in size from 10 employees up to 1,500 employees. They range in size from a capital investment of $100,000 to several $1 billion. 10 of these projects are currently active, and we are very fortunate. We've made it through the cuts on a couple of these, and we feel like we're in pretty good shape. So we would hope that in the coming months, we would be able to announce some new projects and some additional new jobs for our community. So I'm really encouraged, despite the restrictions that have been put on commerce recently with COVID and all, I'm really encouraged by the activity that we're seeing. Again, I'm very appreciative of U.S. Bank allowing us to be one of the presenters this morning, and we thank Sandra and the Chamber for doing such a great job coordinating these Power and Partnership breakfast or meetings virtually. As we enter the Christmas holiday season, I too would like to encourage everyone to shop locally. I've heard it said from a few different ones. A lot of restaurants and particularly catering businesses, they do as much as 60% of their business this time of year. So again, this is make or break time for a lot of our local businesses, and I would encourage you to support your fellow community partners. So on behalf of Nora and Heather and the GPED Board of Directors, I'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas, and we thank you for your partnership and wish you a very blessed and happy Merry Christmas. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bruce. We, as the Chamber, appreciate the partnership that we have with Greater Paducah Economic Development. We share the same building, same space here at the Commerce Center, and we appreciate that opportunity to share your news today at our breakfast. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you, Commissioner Taylor. I mean, wow, the things that you said about Paducah and the future that we have in Kentucky are so impressive, and we're really looking forward to continuing to work with him. We met him in February, as he said, when we were in Frankfort for our annual Chamber State Day, and couldn't wait to have him back with us again to speak. So we appreciate him very much. We are going to draw for door prizes from U.S. Bank, and I have we have U.S. Bank gift cards coming. I think these are $50 each, so I think he's won before.
Has he really?
I'm not sure. These are the ones that are joining us by Zoom. So Chris Hill with Entrepreneuring, Mara McMillan with Paducah Bank, 3, and Bobby Wrinkle with the library. So we'll be mailing those gift cards out to them. Thank you, Chad. Thank you for being here, and thank you for this what great year that we've had. Thank you to U.S. Bank for your sponsorship. I'm looking over at Scott Powell now, who's here with us today. So we appreciate the partnership we have with U.S. Bank very much. As you've heard earlier, we have several events coming up in December. This is not the last one. We have many more events this month. You can see those at paducahchamber.org and register for those. On January 7th, 2021, we'll be back for our annual State of the City and County for our Power and Partnership Breakfast, sponsored by the Paducah-McCracken County Joint Sewer Agency with McCracken County Judge Executive Craig Clymer and our newly elected mayor of the City of Paducah, George Bray. So they'll be joining us on January 7th. We want to just make a few closing announcements. You know, we typically host about 800 people at the Convention Center during our annual meeting and celebration in late January. We have made the decision that it looks like we're going to postpone that event until later in the spring. So we will keep you posted on that. We do plan to have an annual meeting. We are continuing our advocacy efforts on the state level, and we are planning our annual Frankfort trip in February, although it may not be a trip. It may be just like our DC trip where we bring Frankfort to Paducah, and will most likely be virtual. We know that the last thing you want to do probably is attend one more virtual event, but with the size and the scope of the events that we traditionally host, it's really the only responsible option that we have right now. So as we're monitoring things with the vaccine and the red zone and moving out of that, we are continuing to decide where we want to step into the next size, a little bit smaller group of maybe up to 50, and then moving into our full events. So as soon as it's safe, and feasible to host our programs and events in person again, we'll be there. We'll be there waiting for you and hope you're waiting for us. We're the convener of people. But in the meantime, we're doing everything in our power to provide our members with the resources and access to the information that you need to survive and thrive in these trying times. So please help spread the word about why it's important more now than ever to be a part of the Chamber. Sign up for an event, sponsor a program, renew your membership, and help us recruit a new member. Your support allows us to support our members and the community. 2020 brought us many challenges. Nothing about 2020 was business as usual. We never would have ever dreamed we would be operating like we are, but we are doing that and surviving and looking forward to a great 2021. So that we hope in 2021 we'll see you again in person when it's safe. We miss you seeing you in person, but we can't wait to do that again. So Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January, if not before. So thank you for joining us today.